Peace, blessings, and Sappho, the success scholar. Keisha Kwame here. Thank you for tuning in, listening in. Wanted to do this piece uh, and just share a little bit some of my views that that I've developed from attending several of the Congressional Black Caucus events over the past, I'd say at least seven, maybe seven, 6, 7 years. Um, and why I think that the pros and cons, of course, and just the trajectory. Now, this is allegedly, supposedly, more the combination or the collective intellectual uh, depth uh, of Black people in this country, and I just first and foremost, I go to the relevant events, what I believe are, empowering and those things that are not going to waste, my time and everybody else's time. But this year, being a critical year with the first formal caucus with President Donald Trump, I just wondered why more intellectually unique perspectives are not put on the table. Uh, and I will certainly say that absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, it is my position that Dr. Claud Anderson, out of any and everyone, should have been on somebody's radar. So I just wonder, I mean, because again, you have so-called intellectual individuals who are put in place who have positions, but these positions are very limited. The leadership of the caucus, you know, I mean, and sometimes people get a little too old where they're not able to synergize information. They're not reading the right books, and they've spent their too much of their time uh, being, shall I say, miseducated. And some, have good intentions and perhaps good heart, but I don't think that they've gotten the right information to position our community for a true life-giving and life transformation, transforming positions. And why do I say that? I think, unfortunately, that many become conditioned with a lack of intellectual development, where they are not necessarily entrenched in studying uh, Black people's issues, Black causes, and this is where, unfortunately, many of them miss the boat, and they can't even slide the information in. For instance, there's been events where I've been over the years, and I know I'm the only one that did it, where I've had, for instance, a Dr. Anderson's book, or Amos Wilson's piece, and many of these people, they simply just ignored it, right? I mean, just walk right past it, and I already know, for instance, just my statistical facts, history, and numbers, that these people, the only thing they can do is offer one or two people, a few jobs or something. And so I just don't think that they're working to their full potential by omitting, first and foremost, Dr. Claude and some of his analysis, or at least give that should certainly, the book should have been put out there a long time ago. But unfortunately, many people that you all know, you listen to individuals who may not uh, have the independence, the courage, or the confidence and wisdom to know how to maneuver politically and economically within this society. And so I feel the need that I needed to bring this up now. Let me just mention several other individuals who have raised particular political theories or economic theories. Um, Again, I think that people should go. Now, for instance, Dr. Watkins, he kind of just bashed the whole CBC. And let me uh, elaborate or add on to why, for instance, I don't necessarily bash everyone, but I've seen that many of them have not synergized these different areas. There's some good conversations about STEM. Yes, there's certainly some informative global statistics and facts that you can get, but I think that a lot of the weekend is filled with too much, uh, you know, partying and foolishness and drinking and eating. Um, and people have suggested why I go or why would I go, and knowing that individuals do that, but because I just don't think that you can be effective, um, from morning to night and into 1 o'clock in the morning. Uh, just you get a little some knowledge during the day, but from 6 p.m. to 1, 2 in the morning, it's a party. Who needs to party that much time every night of the week? So I'm not saying that everybody does that, of course, there, but it's like people, it's like a money pool. Folk trying to, you know, get their little hustle on, and when there's really not enough intellectual development going on. And some people may say, well, who are you to offer or suggest that people are not learning, or people are not working to their maximum potential, or giving the right knowledge for the people. And I'm just saying that I just don't believe that people are serious about studying. They're not studying, the right scholars, the right individuals to move and position, and they're not bringing people to the table like this. I mean, there are several other individuals that that certainly could or should be speaking at some of these events, but they don't necessarily fit a particular political narrative. And so, I mean, when I look at, for instance, when you have the McDonald's, the Walmarts, the various pharmaceuticals, the various, prison industrial companies, or cigarettes, or Seagram's Gin, or these different companies that are financing your campaign. uh, it's very, your campaign, as well as your parties and all of your other events. It's very difficult, even if you don't consume many of the poisons that and unhealthy lifestyles that are aimed um, at our communities. This destructive. Matter of fact, I recall last year in one of the workshops, one of the a sister from a smoking cessation program, she stood up, and then another sister stood up, and they addressed one of the congresspersons about the alcohol. I'm sorry, the tobacco in the Black community, and the sister said, "Well, we know that you all get some of your financing from the tobacco companies, so so." And the congressman took a well, if you're saying that I take money from the tobacco companies, then you are sadly mistaken. So what I'm saying is that, there are forces out here that may look good, that may present a particular image, but ultimately they're pushing death within our community. For instance, um, there was a natural products expo, and I just wondered, like, okay, you got all these folks that's come in for a weekend of partying, but nobody supports, something happening in Baltimore, a healthy, holistic conference. So, I mean, there's a plot out here to ultimately kill black people, and various politicians, due to their ignorance, and I don't have the books. The medicine book is here. They wouldn't invite Dr. Scott Whitaker. They wouldn't invite Dr. Africa um, to places like this. These individuals, unfortunately, and we have to find this little balance of, getting the right information for our community by going to these places. But ultimately, I'm here to warn individuals that uh, that these institutions, these organizations, I mean, you can read the book 40 Ounce Scoundrel. That talk about these alcohol companies. 40 Ounce Scoundrel, Volume 1 and Volume 2, Coach Powell. Look it up. So again, some of these places, if you may see me there, I'm not there to be a lost soul. I'm not there to be confused. And it's unfortunate that many individuals, for instance, may not necessarily understand that balance dynamic. They see people showing up at these places as like successful, as this is the successful people, but underlying some of the forces that are in place, there are people pulling the strings. There are individuals pulling the strings, saying who or what type of information is going to be presented. There's no way, for instance, that right now that Dr. Claud Anderson, hasn't been offered to speak. I mean, in the past 6 or 7 years, and especially now, it's like, so. I'm just saying that these individuals certainly have done, a disservice this year, and of course there are other intellectual people out here, but I'm here to tell you, from someone who has studied tremendously, in terms of wealth and public policy. And yes, and I wanted to quote actually the discussion between Boyce Watkins and Yvette Carnell in Tone Talks, because yes, of course, that there are certain policies that create conditions for persons of African descent, Black people here, to be poor. But again, I think that we need to at least be present to get a good feel, engage, and get some insider views and opinions of showing up at places like this. You can't be totally on the outside. That's why even with Boyce Watkins, it's like, you can't build a movement by just like being on the outside totally. You have to show up and network. There are people that are coming that appreciate individuals' views that may be interested in some of these analysis, but you're not going to get it from the CBC. They're not going to feed you the real informative minds. You might have a few individuals, but I'm beginning to believe. It's just my belief that many of these individuals, as the book, uh, the peacock elite would say, they more so act as gatekeepers to keep, you know, almost controlling Black people, to keep us more so controlled and ignorant. And so again, I don't expect this to be on CNN. I don't expect for those that would like to uh, see Black people to remain in a subservient manner, to bring out the best, our best teachers, our best teachings, our best strategy, our best positions. But again, that's what I'm definitely bringing to the table, and this is why I felt like I needed to do this. It's not necessarily an immature rant. I didn't want to appear to be a hater, but just some facts, history, and numbers that unfortunately many of these individuals haven't, even positioned themselves to study the right, more progressive, more informed positions to organize effectively. And I was told this by a prominent attorney some years ago when I was there. He was like, it just keeps being the same old each and every year. And I was, a little objective. I was just coming, to get knowledge. And that's what I said. I stayed consistent. I never got caught up in hoopla or, yeah, I'm here. I'm not there to be seen. I'm there to get information, intel gathering, which real builders do. You got to understand the dynamics. You got to organize. But now, you got to organize people, and as well as you got to organize your own resources, your money. So you got to be smarter about what you do with your money, and how and where you put your money and where you put your time. And so this is where true organizers, true thinkers, and those that want to live, those, as Malcolm X would say, our life is our most precious commodity. So we should be preserving our life in the face of knowing that individuals are out here and they are desiring to take our life, to decrease our life, to profit off of our lives, and ultimately, after they've profited, to kill us. That's real of what's going on. How much you can profit off an individual, and then if you haven't profited enough, get them off the planet. And so I'm here to say, it's not a this is not, as some of these lost souls would say, this is not a hotep rant. This is real. So I'm here to say, for those that are truly conscious, those that can listen to intelligent conversations, and know that when one has an intelligent voice, something that's making sense, because this is what, I'm moving very tactfully, for those that can have a good level of comprehension skills and emotional intelligence. I say I'm organizing and building and working tactfully. So I'm doing things all over the DMV, and certainly I'm not going to say, for instance, that I should have presented, but I'll leave that for you all to wake up and know how to work with different people, how to work with those who are studying right teachings and teachers, and want to do something progressive, right? Want to do something progressive, because there are forces out here that want to control your mind and want to keep you subservient, that desire to keep you in poverty, in bondage, and they have little people on a shoestring, that they control, that don't, they got their token positions, and they don't want you to eat. It's just like that. They don't want you to build up anything uh, where you can eat too. So we're gonna have to move some of these so-called leaders out, out from being influential, and for those that are so lost, in the face of the adversity that's going on in this country, the growing increased militant white nationalist Ku Klux Klan, or as Maxine was to say, Kremlin Klan movement that are going on globally. Many of these people are unfortunately able to give a a proper historic, definitive historic global economic and political narrative. And this is why I posted about think globally and act locally. Hmm? So again, we're organizing continually. I'm going to close out here. We're going to continue to build. I'm going today. There's a workshop on walking while black. Um, so again, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to be an intelligent man, a healthy, holistic brother. So I know that individuals don't want healthy, holistic, empowered thinking, independent black men in this society. And so I know that there are forces out here that desire to keep us in prison, to keep us underachieving, keep us poor, while they promote degeneracy and self-destructive black men and put these black men in position so that they can manipulate us into criminality and drug use and alcohol abuse and just real ignorance and wasting time partying and listening to music all night long, from 6 to 2 in the morning. While smart people, they do their business, they studying. They're studying, they're building institutions. Hmm? They're organizing their communities. They're about wealth. They're about ownership. They're about assets. And so unfortunately, these Negroes have programmed black people to be 40, 50, 60-year-old, party people. They have no critical thoughts. They don't have libraries in their homes. Mm. They don't read. Many of these, even people that graduate college, they don't read a book after they graduate from college. And so, that's just the culture that is being created and it's set up that way. Adversaries that desire to keep us impoverished, to keep us in bondage, they set this up in this manner. E. Franklin Frazier at Howard University, author of The Black Bourgeoisie, he laid it out. He laid it out at that time. The miseducation of the Negro, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, and now you have people, they're not practicing a healthy, holistic lifestyle. They wouldn't tell you how to eat to live, right? They will feed you all kind of poisons so that we can be poor, disorganized, and disenfranchised. So I'm saying that we're going to bring a more conscious, more empowered, more relevant, more thinking movement for those that are willing to go to another level. Because I'm not a rookie at this time anymore. I've been there for the past 7, 8 years, listening to people who are miseducated deeply, and unfortunately, they're not bringing us the right knowledge. So that's all I have to say for today. Do share, do share on your timeline, share on the groups, share and wherever you would like to share to. So I'm out. Going to head over there today. I'm going to check out the Nigerian embassy tonight. So got some good things going on. I am going to go to something. I'm going to go to something just to be strategic. I haven't been to the Nigerian embassy, so we're going to think globally about what we're doing. And for those that are ready to wake up, the Nigerians that are ready to wake up, we roll with who's ready to wake up. All right. So that's what I have going on. So stay tuned in. Holla at the Success Scholar. I'm out. Peace. All right, everybody. I am out. I am out. Peace and blessings. Stay tuned in. I am out. I am out. Peace.